Hello there, you gorgeous lot. Welcome back to another fabulous show here on Crafters TV. It's all about a masterclass for the next couple of hours where we look at one specific type or technique of crafting and give you a real in-depth couple of hours of inspiration. I'm not doing the inspiration, obviously. It'd be a really dull couple of hours. Thankfully, my good friend Lily is back with me in the studio. How are you, Lily?
I'm very well, thank you. Ready and raring to go for this really exciting masterclass. I think you're going to love this one. It's just super pretty.
It's really good, isn't it? I think the thing is about flower forming is it sort of transpons lots of different types of crafting. So whether you're adding them to things like card projects or making things for the home or even things to wear, there's loads of different things you can do with this.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just learning the basic skills, knowing the process, knowing all the techniques, and once you've got those mastered, you're away. You can be adding your flowers to whatever you like, whether that's cards, home decor, anything you want to wear, it's going to be absolutely perfect. So it's a great skill to have in your crafty arsenal.
It really, really is. Don't worry about me, I'm just over here still congratulating myself for getting the word transpons into the show. I know, I don't know where that, obviously someone ate a thesaurus last night. We've got lots of great, as well as loads of inspiration, we've got lots of amazing deals for you on the show as well. A great opportunity for you to get restocked on a lot of your flower forming items. We're going to kick off actually with this item that's just here in front of me. Some really lovely dies for you. It's a 6 die set. I've got some boards for some of them. Let me show you them. So this one here, you're going to get this gorgeous foliage set that you can see there. That's the ivy that you're looking at. This brilliant for adding into your floral foam flower projects, but also great, I think, for adding texture in a whole load of different ways. I could see someone using those in like a mixed media project, couldn't you, Lily?
Oh, absolutely. I'm thinking cutting them in your black and then adding some of your gilding waxes that we've got on today's show. How fab would that look?
Really cool. Yeah, think about going a bit abstract with these. Definitely something you can do. That's upside down. That one there is the holly that you've got, so that one's coming included. And no reason why that couldn't be a poinsettia though, I think, if you wanted to cut that in red.
Absolutely, yeah, it builds up the layers.
This one here is your foliage. Now foliage is an absolute essential when it comes to your flower forming, so great that you've got that included. And you'll also get the autumn leaves in here. And then you are also getting these other 2 die sets. So you're going to get this one here, this is your peony, and you'll also receive this one. Now this is your clover that you've got in there. So you get all 6 of those dies that you can see just there. 38.45, 50.19, really healthy saving for you on that one just there. That's if you want to go for the dies. With those 2, these are the kind of projects that you're going to be able to create with them. So you can see the really lovely, dense, full, lush floral arrangements that you can create. There are some other items on the show for you as well. If you're looking for something that's more of a starter kit, then we've got a couple of different options for you. This is a spring foam flowers collection. You get 5 die sets in here, 2 packs of the foam, and you'll get 400 stamens in there. So a really great starting point if you're giving this a go for the first time. We also have the autumn winter foam flower set as well. 22 elements in that one, 800 stamens, 24 sheets of foam there as well for you. 44.94 is your price. A couple of different things. I'd love to see pictures today of your flower forming projects that you may have created already. If you want to send those in to us, you can. Let's share your creativity. studio@crafterscompanion.co.uk is where that gets sent. If you've got any questions about flower forming, maybe you've given it a go, maybe you're yet to try it and there's something you really want to find out, you can get in touch with me really easily. And that's Crafters TV over on Facebook, Crafters Companion if you are across on YouTube. Lots of you saying hi already. I can see Alexia is here from Florida. CJ's in Canada. Adriana says, I've got flower forming materials that I've yet to use, so I'll be paying attention today. Carletta, Laura, the lovely Beth is in as well. Kathleen says, I am excited to learn how to do this. I can see the lovely Linny as well. So hello again, lovelies. Love a day using flower forming foam. One of those things I think maybe people have been apprehensive to try in the past, and when they do, they absolutely love it, don't they?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's one of those things that you just need to master the skills, get the right tools. That's super, super important. Once you've got the right tools and you know the sort of process, you're going to be away and you're going to be making flower after flower after flower after flower. I know for me, actually, I don't know if you guys at home are the same, but I like to set myself sort of crafty New Year's resolutions.
Right.
So something that I might want to try for that coming year in terms of my crafting. And last year, one of my resolutions was actually to try flower forming.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah, so I dabbled dabbled in it a little bit before, but last year I thought, right, this is the year I'm going to really try and master this. So I've done a lot of flower forming over the past year, and I can't wait to share with you everything that I've sort of learned over that time.
Well, you've definitely mastered it, because now you're doing a master class on Crafted TV. There you are. The definition of mastering it, I'd say, Lily.
Well, it's so much fun, and I can't wait to get crafting and show you what we're going to do. Let's do it. Right. So we're going to start off with, this die set is absolutely stunning, but how you pronounce it, goodness knows. Elegant Ranunculus, I think it's called. It's an absolutely fabulous flower, and you can make them in a range of sizes. So within the set, not only have we got the set of dies, but we've also got a couple, well, there's about 3 in there, templates to make your larger flowers. So if you want to make really, really large ranunculi, as I think they might be called, the plural, possibly, we'll go with that. You've got your templates, so those are going to be perfect for all your home decor projects. If you want to make really big, juicy flowers, then the templates are going to be great for that. But for this particular project, we're going to focus on the die set. And we've got 2 of the sort of main flowers in the 2 different sizes, and we're going to start off with those to start with. I've taken a piece of the foam from the Spring Hues collection. So within the set, not only are we giving you the dies, we're also giving you the stamens and the foam too. So it's absolutely everything you need to start getting crafting, start off on your flower forming journey. And I must say it's a really, really exciting journey to be on, because you're going to create some beautiful things. The fabulous thing about when you're working with your foam and your dies, you can cut multiple layers at once. So we sort of tend to say up to about 8 to 10 layers. I know Michelle's done about 8 to 10. I'm sure she was saying. So yeah, you can cut loads at once, which is brilliant, because it means that you can build up the layers really, really quite quickly. Because with your foam flowers, you want layers. That's what's going to give your flowers that dimension, that lovely full realistic effect. So here I've only using the 2 dies, and I'm only cutting 2 layers of each. Like I say, I could be cutting a lot more layers, but for this one particular flower, we're just going to be going with the 4 layers. So you can see I was using my Gemini Junior there. These dies are perfect if you've got your smaller size machines, and they're great if you've got one of your, perhaps your mini or your midi, and you just have it on a lap tray beside you. It's great to get cutting lots and lots of flowers, and perhaps while you're watching the telly when you've got Crafters TV on in the background. It's just a nice little sort of mindful bit of crafting you can do. You don't have to think about it too much. You don't have to have a particular project in mind. You can just focus on making lovely flowers, and then maybe store them in a plastic box ready for your next appropriate project.
And I mean, that's sort of double-edged sword, isn't it? Because it's lovely making them, really enjoyable to make, but then also when you need that quick embellishment for a project, you can really elevate a project with a foam flower. If you've got a load of them good to go, you're just going to be able to pop them on whenever you wish. Yeah,
absolutely. So I think we're sort of going phases of when we're crafting. Some days we might feel like making a load of backgrounds, some days we want to make full cards, other days we just feel like making embellishments. So it's great when you are having a day when you feel just like making flowers, make a load, save them, and then when you need them for your projects in future, you've got them ready-made, almost like a ready-made embellishment that you buy, but something that you've made yourself. So all I'm doing now is I'm adding a little bit of colour to our foam. And now that's one of the questions we get asked quite often is, how can you colour your foam? What's going to work? What's not going to work? Well, you can use lots of different mediums on your foam, and we're going to try and show that to you throughout today's show. What I'm using at the moment is I'm using some of my Spectrum Noir inks. Now, if you joined us for our Colour Me Happy edition this morning, you will have seen lots and lots of different Spectrum Noir inks, lots and lots of uses for each, and pretty much all of our Spectrum Noir inks will work on the foam. I find the best ones to use, and the one that I'm using at the moment is the water reactive. They're great for blending, as are the opaque pigments. So the opaque pigment will work really nicely on the foam as well. It'll just take a bit longer to dry, and what you'll find is you'll get even inkier fingers than you do with the water reactive. I'm building up the colour on my fingers, probably more than I am on the flowers at the moment. But yeah, they will work. Your quick dries will work. But for me, my go-to for my foam is definitely my water reactive. And as you can see, I'm just adding a little bit of the fuchsia colour to the very edges of these petals. Now, it's totally up to you how you colour your foam. I could be adding colour in the centre, so it goes from sort of dark in the middle of the flower to light at the edges, but in this instance I'm adding the colour to the edges. And notice how I'm adding colour to both sides of the flowers, because when we come to mould and shape them you will see both sides. So if we were to only colour one side, it wouldn't look as realistic as it will when we've coloured two. And I'm using my finger dauber just because it allows me to get into that precise detail. With your smaller flowers, I find that's a lot easier to use that technique rather than some of my sort of blending tools. So what we're going to do is we're going to take an iron. Now you can use a specialist craft iron if you've got one of those, but just a regular iron on a medium-high heat works absolutely fine. And we're going to start off shaping our flowers now. Now, as always, when you're working with an iron, something hot, just take a little bit of care. The only use I know for an iron is crafting. I wouldn't know about ironing your clothes, so I can't advise you on that, I'm afraid. But at least we've found a use for an iron, haven't we? Finally. So all we're going to do is I'm starting off with some of my larger petals. Just hold them against the iron just for a tiny bit of time until it starts to curl up, and then we can take it onto our flower shaping mat. I'm using my flower shaping tools that we've got in a bundle on today's show. So you get your ball tools and this lovely spongy mat, which is the perfect density for shaping all of your foam flowers. So apply the heat on the iron until it starts to shrink a little bit.
We've got all the tools you need as well available over on the website. You find absolutely everything there. I'll take you through some of the foam and the stamens and everything that we've got, but it's all available for you. I think this process of heat setting the foam as well, Lily, is what really sets our system apart, isn't it, from others that are out there? Absolutely. So by heating the foam, it just makes it a lot easier to shape. If you sort of shape it from cold, you're much more likely to tear and rip the foam, which is okay. If we do have a few odd tears in our foam, we can always make that work. We can just make it look more natural. But by heating the foam, it just allows us to shape it a lot easier. And just heating it on an iron, I find, is the easiest way to work. You can use a heat tool. And last night when I was crafting away, making my flowers, I was actually using a combination of both an iron and a heat tool, just the type that you tend to use for embossing. But I find personally the easiest way is to use an iron. You just get a more even amount of heat onto your petals. Now we're going to bring in our heat gun, hot glue gun, that's the one, just to stick these together. Now I find the easiest way to stick my foam flowers together is by using my heat gun, just because it's instant, so you're going to get that instant grab onto there. I'm not having to hold it and mess around waiting for the layers to dry. You can use your, as our Debbie calls it, your chunky glue. Chunky glue, your 3D glue gel. That will hold really well, but like I say, it just takes a little bit of time to dry. And if you're an impatient crafter and you want to get on with all the nice pretty bits, then definitely hot glue gun is the way to go. So just squeezing a little bit out onto that and building up the layers. And as I build up the layers, I'm sort of alternating. So where there's a gap on the layer below, I'm going to have a petal on the layer above. And then just pop it back onto my spongy mat and just use my my ball tool even, to just stick that together, and that adds even more shape to our flower as we go. And then final layer, so this is only 4 layers of petals, really quite easy and quick to come together. But you can see there is a lot of texture, isn't there, for considering there aren't that many layers?
Yeah, so you know, it's totally up to you how many layers you want to go for, but only with the 4, like you say, Joe, we're already getting a lot of texture onto there, which is absolutely fabulous. So it just means it doesn't take too long to create something that looks really quite stunning and realistic. Now this is the ranunculus, like I say, but of course I'm creating more of sort of a fantasy flower. You don't have to worry about your flowers looking really realistic or being just like a real flower. You can just create something that's really pretty, and it doesn't have to be a particular type of flower.
I mean, you could, with the white foam that we have on the show as well, you could go really quite abstract if you wanted to and colour that with a whole host of different things.
Oh yeah, doing white foam flowers and then inking them in a sort of a rainbow ombre, and then adding glitter. Oh my goodness, how fabulous would that be? Almost awesome. Like unicorn flowers.
A uniflower.
Uniflower, yeah.
Love that.
That would be fab. So I'm just using my pokey tool to poke a hole in the centre of the flower that can actually add my stamens through. So I'm using the stamens from the floral bouquet, which is all part of the collection. And I'm just taking 3 and then I fold them in half and then twist. You can add a piece of wire. Some people like to hook a little piece of wire around there. It just makes it easier to thread through the hole. But just take that through the hole, just like so. Just feed it through, and then that will give us our stamens into the centre of the flower. So that finishes that off really, really nicely. And of course you can start manipulating it a little bit more, shaping the flowers even more, however you like. The brilliant thing about the foam is you can carry on going back in there and keeping on shaping it. But that's our ranunculus. If we move on to the next flower that we've got within this set, we have got the hydrangea garden. And I've already gone ahead and I've cut some of these out already. You don't need to see me cutting them again. I've got
question about the iron from Alison. Lily, do you actually touch the foam to the iron plate, or do you just hold it near to the iron? Asked Alison.
You can actually touch it, yeah.
Okay.
So, don't know if you guys can see. It's literally just sort of kissing it on there until you can see it starts to shrink, because when the foam is heated, it actually shrinks it a little bit.
Wow.
So you will get the flowers end up a little bit smaller than when you actually die cut them. And you can go back in there, if you're not entirely happy, you can go back in there and heat it again, and then just go back and reshape it until you're completely happy with the effect that you've created. But yeah, it does just touch the iron just ever slightly. You can see that starts to sort of ball up. And that's a lot of the shaping done. You don't need to do a lot of shaping after you've touched your heat, your iron even, after you've heated it, because it shapes already. It sort of cups up, can you see? Yep. Just touching that onto the iron.
And have you got a particular setting or anything in the iron?
It's medium high, so not
high,
super
okay.
hot, but not super cold either. So we want a nice bit of heat so that we can heat up our flowers.
Sarah Parrish also asked, can you get a good effect using paper and cardstock in this dye system?
Absolutely, yeah. So we're talking a lot about our foam flowers today, but these dyes will work with your paper, with your cardstocks. I tend to go for, when I'm doing my my flowers by hand, I tend to use a paper rather than a card, just because it allows you to shape them a little bit easier. But yeah, absolutely, your papers are going to work fabulous, whether that be plain papers, your lovely pattern papers. You can be using tissue paper as well, that works beautifully, even crepe paper, vellums. How about using felt? And you could do a bit of a plique with these. So many different options.
Nice.
So we're talking about our foam today, but absolutely, fill your boots. See what you can die cut.
Yeah, I bet things like vellums would be lovely as well.
Oh yeah, it gives it such a lovely, delicate effect, does vellum. So yeah, lots and lots of different options. And like we say, we've got the white foam on the show today, so if you want to really custom make your own flowers, then you can colour them from white.
Your hot glue gun doesn't like you, does it? It's wants to run away from you today.
I know, it keeps wanting to slip off the edge.
We need to get you one of those totally
why.
Tiffany holders to pop it in, don't we? A little
I know,
holster.
definitely. It's not good. It doesn't like me today. It doesn't want to be doing flower form. I'm not quite sure why. So that's our lovely little hydrangea. We're going to do exactly the same process again with our stamens, but I think I'm just going to go for 2 this time, with it being a smaller little flower. I think 2 stamens, and when we do fold them in half and double them over, it does sort of become like 4 anyway. So that'll give us that nice little finishing touch in the middle. Now we are using the stamens, but you don't have to use stamens. You could create your own centres, like a quilled centre. Some of the die sets, some of the die sets that we've got on today have those sort of quilled centres. I'm just going to pull that little bit of hot glue gun off. Or you could be using beads, little seed beads, glitter, pearls, brads, anything at all. But the stamens are just a really quick and easy way.
Will glossy highlights work onto foam, do you think?
Oh gosh, that's a really good question. Do you know what? I've never tried it. I don't see why not.
Yeah.
I can't promise anything, but personally I don't see why they wouldn't work. So yeah, definitely give it a go. The worst that can happen is it doesn't work and you've wasted a tiny little bit of foam.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'd definitely give that a go. If you think what small pieces of foam we're using here to create these flowers, it's really not a lot at all. So definitely experiment, see what different mediums you can use on your foam. So we're going to shape these with our next die set, and this one is the clover. So you can get this in.
Oh my word, what was that?
We've just had a tote on the side that's
that was
fallen over.
that absolutely scared the living daylights out of me. I wish you could hear how my heart is beating. It was just a totally Tiffany Ditto tool tote falling over on the other side of the room. I was lucky to not do a little swear then, Lily, I'll be honest with you.
I know, that was very, very loud.
So loud. I thought a car was coming through the studio wall or something. Honestly, I saw my life flash before my eyes.
That was interesting. Anyway, back to the
Charlotte's
flowers.
fault, apparently.
So just shaping those in exactly the same way.
I love you, Lily. Cool as a cucumber over there. Didn't even flinch.
I'm just, I'm lost in flower making, to be fair. So going in with our clover, and we've cut this from this lovely purple foam, and again, this is in the same set of the spring hues. So we've got a real mix of some really quite dark and intense colours of the foam, and much paler ones within this set. So just going to shape those and stick them together. And I've realised that the second flower that we created, I didn't actually ink the edges, so I'll show you a way how we can sort of rectify that in a moment. If you forget to ink your edges, and let's be honest, it happens, we get lost in our flower making, we get a little bit carried away, then we realise, oh no, forgot to add my colour to that. I'll show you a way that we can rectify that in a moment. So, you know, I always say there's no mistakes ever in crafting. There's always a way that we can find to fix it. So I'm going to pop that glue gun over there before it falls off the edge, as it's determined to do today. But it was beaten by the Tiffany tote, that fell off first. So shaping those in exactly the same way. So we get that really lovely sort of almost scrunched up flower sort of effect onto there really quite easily. And we're going to take our pokey tool again and just spear a hole through the centre that we can feed our stamens through. Just like so. Of course, I'm using my Crafter's Companion pokey tool to do so. Taking the two stamens that we've got, twisting them as we fold them in half, just to gather that section there, and then we're going to feed that through the hole. And if the hole isn't quite large enough, you just go back in with your pokey tool and make it a little bit larger, but that's okay in this instance. And that gives us our lovely clover.
Really finishes them off, the stamens, doesn't it?
Absolutely, doesn't it? Yeah, it's only just 2 stamens, but it finishes it off absolutely beautifully. Right, we're going to go back to our hydrangea that I may very well have forgotten to ink. And I'm going to take my Lagoon water reactive dye. We can actually ink it after it's been created and shaped. So 2 sort of options with your inks. You can ink all the layers before you actually pop it together, or you can ink afterwards like so. And you can even ink the stamens if you want to add colour to them. This is quite a pale blue stamen colour. So absolutely, you can be doing that. You can be adding your ink.
Can we add colour to the foam with things like our alcohol markers, Lily?
You might have read my mind. We're going to be doing that a little bit later.
Oh,
yeah,
amazing.
Definitely. Yeah, that works fabulously. Yeah, we'll look at that later. Finally, we're going to look at the Peony from this this particular collection. Now, you may have noticed that I have not inked this at all. We're going to do something a little bit different with that in just a moment, keeping you in suspense there. I'm going to try out something I must say I've not tried out before, but I think it's going to work quite nicely. So, I'm taking some of the layers of my Peony. I think I'm going to go for 3 of the larger and 2 of the smaller, but I'll just start to build it up and sort of see what I think with these. I'll shape these like so. Really, really easy to do with your ball tools and your flower shaping mat. Of course, just heating them with our iron. So until it shrinks back, as you see it curve up, that's enough heat applied, and just take it off, and then you can shape it using your ball tools. And we get a variety of different sizes of the ball tools within the collection, so it's perfect for all your different sizes of flowers. So if you're doing your small little flowers, you've got your really diddy little ball tools, and if you're doing your really big blousy, as I call them, proper flowers, you've got your smaller ball tools as well.
Diane says I use a candle warmer to heat set mine. It seems to do the trick. Should I be using a hotter heat? I guess if it works for you, then If it's working.
Yeah, if it's working, then absolutely. I have heard some people do similar things to that before. So yeah, if you found that it works for you, then absolutely. You just need something that's going to get it hot enough. I know some people say you can use just the heat in your hands, but I find it's not quite hot enough just to use the heat in your hands. So having some other method of heating is perfect, just like your iron or your heat gun, if needs be. So again, we're layering up the flowers. Every time I'm staggering the flowers so that they're sort of overlapping in a way that's going to make them look a little bit fuller than laying the petals directly over the top of each other. And with every layer, I'm using my hot glue. You can also use tacky glue. Our Collal tacky glue is really strong and will hold them, but it'll just take a little bit longer to dry, which, you know, us impatient crafters, we're not too much of a fan of. With this particular flower, I'm just going for the 4 layers. Because of the way that we shaped it, it still looks quite full with even just 4 flowers, 4 flower layers even. So it just goes to show how easy and how quickly you can actually build up these foam flowers. I think a lot of people, what perhaps puts them off flower making is they think, oh, it's going to take absolutely ages. But hopefully we're going to show you today that that's not the case. They can actually come together quite quickly. Once you sort of know the techniques and the different methods of popping them together, you should hopefully see that you can create lovely flowers really quite quickly.
The other great thing as well, I think, about something like flower forming foam is if you are a paper crafter, you already have most of the things that you need in order to make these amazing flowers. You know, we put some great deals together today for you for the dyes and the foam. So it's actually, it's an easy segue, isn't it, if you're a paper crafter, to start a new craft and it not break the bank, but give you something new to work on in the new year.
Absolutely. I mean, I was talking earlier about how it was my sort of crafty New Year's resolution last year. I'd done a lot of paper flowers before that, so I find it was a fairly easy transition to go from making paper flowers to doing the foam ones. It's just a different medium. You've got a lot of the skills already if you are used to doing your paper flowers. It's just a different medium to play with, and you can, as I was saying yesterday, you can actually mix up your mediums on one project. So you can have a project where you've got foam and paper flowers. It's not just a case of one project, one sort of flower. You can absolutely mix them up, and that's going to give you some fantastic looks and variety on your projects, which is what you want.
Absolutely.
Now, we mentioned earlier we're going to do something a little bit different with the purple flowers, and I've got some gilding wax. Now, this is the King Gold that I'm going for this particular flower, and this is just going to give us a really, really opulent finish. So I'm getting a little bit onto my finger and then just a little bit off onto my glass mat, just to make sure I've not got too much on there, because a little goes such a long way with these fabulous gilding waxes. And I know we've got these on the show today in a range of different colours, so you can pick some of these up really quite affordably, and there's so many different things you can do with these. I know we tend to think of using them with our embossing folders and that sort of thing on our dark cards, but absolutely you can be using them on your foam, and it works an absolute treat. It just gives you that really, really special opulent finish. You could be adding them to your stamens as well, just to give them that luxurious gilded finish too. But just
very busy on this particular collection, Lee. Lots of people going for this at the moment. I think a lot of people wanting to try something new and obviously make it very affordable. I remember what you're getting there: 5 die sets, 2 foam packs and 400 stamens, which is an awful lot of craftability for $50.19 or $67.95. What would you say would be someone's good first project, Lily, with these when they get these home, start making them for the first time?
I think it sort of depends on what sort of craft you're coming from. So if you are a card maker, I'd definitely say pop them on a card.
Yep.
So the first thing I would definitely be doing, this is what I did, I made a load of flowers to start with. I didn't think about projects, I didn't worry too much about what I'd do with them. I just thought, right, I'm just going to get used to the foam, because you sort of get used to how much you can mess with it really, how far you can push it before it starts to tear, and it just takes a little bit of getting used to, a little bit of familiarising yourself with it. So I started by creating lots and lots of lovely flowers, and then I just popped them in a box, ready for when I needed them on my next project. And then you can just start adding them to your projects as you go. So definitely just get playing, get cutting, cut lots and lots of layers. It's always better to have too many layers than not enough. It's the same with flowers. You can always save them for another project if you don't want to use that them on that particular project. So that's our lovely 2 gilded flowers, like so. So it just shows you how easily you can create something a little bit different, and it works so well on the dark foam. But what we're going to do is we're going to actually start building this up onto a project, just to show you how easily you can use your lovely foam flowers in all your projects. So it doesn't matter if they're cards or home decor, they're going to work beautifully well as a lovely embellishment. Perhaps you're used to buying lots of sort of ready-made flowers. Well, now you can make your own, and then you can make them so they match absolutely perfectly to whatever project you are creating, which is brilliant, because we like to have everything coordinated, don't we?
Yeah, especially if you are using, you know, lighter colours of foam and incorporating your ink pads. It's the same, you're using the same ink pad essentially for, you know, your background as you're using for the foam flower, so it's all going to match beautifully. And also they can be quite expensive, I think, when you buy them. You know, online. Are they ever really exactly what you want or what you're after? Probably not. With this, you're in complete control. And also, Lily, let's face it, you get to have the fun of making it, which is most of the fun,
Absolutely.
isn't it?
That's what it's all about, isn't it? It's all about the fun of making it. And I have to say, over the years, I have bought goodness knows how many flowers, ready-made flowers, and I never want to use them. I've spent so much money on them because, like you say, they don't come cheap. They're never quite right for the project that I want to pop them on, and I ended up never using them. And I spend all this money, and it's ever so frustrating. Whereas when you're making your own, not only have you got the enjoyment of actually making them, you know that you can custom make them to your project, so they're going to match perfectly, and you don't need to worry about them not being quite the right shape, not the right size, not exactly the right colour tone. But yeah, they are absolutely brilliant. But the best part is actually making them. It's so much fun to put them together. So I've just taken this box. We've added some lovely pretty pattern papers onto there, built up the layers. Then all we're going to do now is we're going to add in some of our flowers. So I tend to start with the largest one in the centre and then sort of mirror the design so it's sort of symmetrical, but you don't have to do that. We might mix it up a little bit today, so I might pop that lovely blue one up that corner. And the sort of trick when you're doing your arrangements is don't have big gaps between your flowers. Have everything so it touches and you get a really full effect, so it looks like they're all sort of growing together, and it'll give you a really, really nice, realistic look on your projects. Then I think we're going to add in, where should we go now?
Do you tend to work in odd numbers when you're doing this?
I do tend to,
like,
yeah.
In the same way you would when you're paper crafting?
Yeah, odd numbers do tend to work best. Twos are all right. A pair can work quite well, but generally we do tend to work in our odd numbers, but definitely don't get too hung up about it. I know we can get a little bit hung up about the odd number whole thing, but yeah, just have a play. If it looks right to your eye, then like I was saying earlier, if it looks right, then it's right. Then we're going to finish off, just to balance on that side, we're going to finish off with that lovely purple flower that we've added our gorgeous gilding wax to. And I chose the purple, the gold gilding wax, just to match with the gold tones that we've got in this lovely pattern paper. Add that onto the bottom left, and I'm using my hot glue gun, just like I used to stick my flowers together, just for that quick stick. I know it's going to hold really, really well onto this little box, just like so. But you can see how easily we managed to build up our own box from scratch, creating all our own foam flowers, showing you different ways to shape them and colour them. But how easy was that to create? That could be on a card, it could be on a home decor piece, but isn't it beautiful on a box?
Really, really gorgeous. A great starting point. If maybe this is going to be your first foray into flower forming foam, then a great starting point because you've got everything you need in there. Let's just recap exactly what's in there. So you're getting the you're getting 5 die sets within here, which is great. So you've got the crocus, the ranunculus, hydrangea. You've also got the peony and the clover in there as well. And then you've got the flower forming foam in the spring hues and the floral bouquet, and also 400 stamens in there as well, which is excellent, excellent value for money. 40.15, 54.36 if you are a platinum member. Up next, we are going to look at a absolute whopper of a collection on the foam. Maybe you have been making foam flowers a lot, you want to restock on the foam. Brilliant collection, 57 sheets here for £31.96 or £45.80. Some different collections for you. So you've got the holiday hues, autumn hues. This one here is your spring hues. Then you've got the foliage greens. You'll also get the floral bouquet, and you've also got you've also got the white there as well, the natural white. 31.96 or 45.80 if you want to go for those. We then have as well stamens colour matched, which is awesome. You get how many? 2,400 in here. So you've got the holiday hues, autumn hues, the noir black, very striking, the white, the grey again if you want to colour these yourself. You've then got these ones here. Now these are your, let's find the name of these ones. These are your floral bouquet, and then also the metallic ones, which are very, very striking as well. The metallic one's very, very, oh, and I missed one as well, did I? No, I didn't miss one. That's off the next one. And then we've got another collection for you as well, which is a white foam. You get 3 here, so you're getting 3, which is your, so 21 sheets of the foam, and then you're going to get the stamens in the white included as well. The white is a really good one to have because you can add colour to both the stamens and the foam. It means that, of course, whether it's liquid inks or alcohol markers, ink pads, gilding wax, you can add a host of different colour to it. I'm actually going to give you an opportunity to check out already. It's very, very busy, especially on those 2 starter kits that we shared with you. So I'll give you an opportunity to check out, and then what we'll do is we'll come back and get some more inspiration from the lovely Lily.
Welcome to Club Inspire, the crafters companion community where you can feed your crafty obsession. Join our fantastic loyalty club today and receive 20% of your first order. We'll also give you 250 points to help get you started. Other benefits of joining Club Inspire include exclusive special offers and discounts for Club Inspire members only, exclusive sneak peek previews of brand new product launches, and of course the Club Inspire community group on Facebook, where you can access exclusive content such as downloads, offers and inspiration, and of course you can chat and share your makes with other members. You'll receive 1 point for every £1, dollar or euro you spend, and the more points you receive, the more benefits you'll unlock. So what are you waiting for? Sign up, join the club and start rewarding yourself today.
Quick Buy, all your crafty must-haves in a flash. Put away your tape measure and fabric scissors. The Threader's fabric cutter offers accuracy and precision with every cut. This handy tool slices through fabric in a guillotine style. Its ergonomic design features a comfortable and protective handle, so it's safe and easy to use whether you're right or left-handed. Its 45mm rotary blade will cut up to 6 layers of fabric at a time, so your sewing, quilting, and upholstery project times are cut down to size. It's equipped with a measuring guide in metric and imperial for a perfectly accurate cut every time. The built-in grid ruler has 30-degree, 45-degree, and 60-degree angle lines, so you can cut fabric on any angle, including the bias. Quick Buy, all your crafty must-haves in a flash. Welcome to Crafters TV. With more than 35 hours of live shows each week, it's your home for all things craft. We shine the spotlight on new and innovative crafting products with live tutorials and demonstrations. Join our family of craft experts where fun happens every day.
Quiet. The neighbours.
I'm all out of Zoom. I'm so lost without you. I'm not singing.
Lisa, if you email in, don't send a picture of your air fryer. Make sure it's something creative.
Get creative and craft along. With our amazing deals, your next craft project is just a click away. Tune in live 7 days a week, or you can watch us on Catch Up at crafterscompanion.com, Facebook, or our YouTube channels. You can chat to us, craft along, and meet new friends by joining our online crafting community.
You entertain us, you give us a community to talk, in the chat. That wouldn't happen without you guys. It's like Crafters Companion is magical. There's magic here.
Joy, there's not a dry eye in the studio here. Debbie's welling up, I'm welling up.
There's a show for every type of crafter, from first-time dabblers to full-time makers. Crafters TV, create every day.
Absolutely, we do create every day. Lots of you chatting away with us in the comments. Robin saying glossy highlights just dropped on the edges would make beautiful dewdrops. Mary Lee says, well, good morning. It's one of my favourite crafts. Pam's very excited to see Lily back in the studio. Mary Beth saying hi from Minnesota. Wanted to see Lily do the foam flowers. Always need new ideas. Adriana says, I don't think I've seen this technique. Thanks for the inspiration. We'll give it a try. Karen was loving the use of gilding wax. A couple of questions as well, Lily.
Oh, yeah?
Brenda says, good morning from Jacksonville, Florida. Good morning. After cutting the foam flowers, can they be shaped and put together, then stored for later use without them losing shape? Or is it best to shape them when ready to use?
No, because the foam is being specifically designed to be shaped and to hold its shape. You can create all your flowers, shape them so they're all completely good to go, then store them and then get them back out. They're not going to lose their shape at all. They're going to be exactly the same as the day that you made them. So yeah, absolutely perfect for that. That's one of the great things about the foam, because it's been designed to be shaped and to hold its shape. It's just brilliant.
Amazing. Karen says, what did Lily do with the wire from the stamens, or the stamens sticking out from the back? I always wonder what to do with them, fold them or cut them.
Well, what I did is I sort of arranged it a little bit. I sort of curled it round a little bit when I came to stick my flowers on, but you can cut it. If you're going to be sticking it down straight away, then you're fine to cut it. If I'm making my flowers and then I'm storing them, so for example, this poinsettia that we're going to come to later, I've not cut that because I knew I made this last night and I knew I wasn't going to be sticking it to a project straight away. But as I come to stick it onto my project, you'll be fine to cut that, as long as you're going to be applying glue straight away. So you just don't want your stamens to come out the other side. But yeah, I tend to sort of twirl mine round like that so it's hidden underneath and then you don't need to cut it. But it's totally up to you, whatever you find easiest.
Brilliant. I guess just not cutting them too short would be the thing, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
So it's unfurl.
Yeah.
Like when I crocheted myself a pair of shorts for Glastonbury, Lily, and then when I'd finished them, I cut all the tails really, really short and they started to unfurl. Wasn't a good look.
Oh dear.
Laura wants to know, what do you do? How would you mail these cards? Which is a great question.
I tend to, because they're so dimensional, I would tend to pop them in a box. But like I say, if you do pop them in an envelope and they do get squished down a little bit, they do sort of spring back up and sort of pop back up when you take them out of the envelope. So you don't need to worry about them too much. They're not really, really delicate and fragile. They're not really going to get squished. And like I say, if they do get squished a little bit, you can just zhuzh them back up a little bit and they'll look beautiful again. So don't worry about it too much. But these are really special cards. I would be thinking about a lovely envelope box or box to pop them into.
Excellent. Any other questions you've got, you can get them into me, Crafters TV on Facebook, Crafters Companion if you are across it on YouTube, and I'll pop them across to Lily for you. We've got another collection to have a little look at. Maybe you're going to go for both collections. This one here is your autumn winter foam flower set. You've got, you can see your 4 different dies within there, which is fantastic. You've also got your stamens and 2 packs of foam. They're 12 sheet packs. So you've got 24 packs of foam. You've got the autumn hues and the holiday hues within there. Less than £36, $46.56 for platinum members if you are stateside. Loving the big bold colours in this collection, Lily.
It's absolutely gorgeous, isn't it? I know we've just had Christmas, but let's be honest, we have Christmas every year. So we know we're going to have to make lots more Christmas projects this year. And I have to say, I heard one of my crafty friends earlier, she put on Facebook, she's going to try and make a few cards every week, every month throughout the year for Christmas.
That's a great idea.
Yeah, because I think a lot of us find we get so behind. We get to December and it's like, oh my goodness, I've got all these cards to make. How am I going to make them all? So making a few each month is just going to give you a head start. So why not think about Christmas in January? Why ever not? But of course, because these are flowers, they're sort of basic shapes. This is a poinsettia die set, but it doesn't have to be a poinsettia. It can be any flower you like.
Could be a lily, couldn't it?
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah, you can create it into lots and lots of different flowers. And like I was saying earlier, I tend to do fantasy flowers. I don't tend to do particularly realistic flowers. I just enjoy creating and don't worry too much about whether they look like a particular flower or not. As long as they look pretty, you're all good, is my sort of motto there. So we're going to start off with the poinsettia. And you get a range of different sizes. Now, these are not actually petals, are they? They're leaves on a poinsettia.
Leaves?
Yeah,
yes,
that's right, isn't it?
The flower is the bit that looks like the stamen, isn't it, on a poinsettia?
Yeah. It's they're a funny one. So yeah, I'll probably call them petals, but they're not, they're leaves. So we're going to cut 2 of the largest and 2 of the second largest. So that's going to give us a nice, large, full full flower.
How are you with real flowers, Lily? Are you green-fingered?
No, not at all. I love flowers. I love looking at flowers. I love making flowers, colouring in flowers. Do I know much about flowers? No.
I was doing well. I've been notoriously bad at like plants and stuff.
Oh no.
And obviously when I moved into my own place, well, not. I mean, we're in that bit of the year where you don't know if you're saying last year is, you know.
Oh yeah. Oh
last
dear.
year to me is the year before last now.
Yeah.
When I moved into my own place the year before last, I bought some plants, and I must say I've had well, apart from the succulent, which I told you about, I'd had no actual plant fatalities. However, this week, I'm afraid.
Oh dear.
I lost the first one. It is the one, Charlotte's asking which one it is. It's the one in my bedroom. Yeah, it was very needy. If I left the blind down one day, it would be all sort of like really beautiful looking. You leave the blind down one day, come in and it'd be like needy, like still like what's going on wilted. It just, yeah, it gave up in the end. But good excuse to buy more now.
Well, this is the thing about making your own foam and paper flowers. You don't have to worry about them dying, which is perfect. If you're not great at looking after real flowers.
Could you scent these? Could you spray them with like perfume or some sort of room spray or something like that? Don't
see why not. Yeah, I'm sure I've heard people do that before. Yeah, go for it. Give it a go. That'd be lovely. So we were talking about different ways of colouring our flowers, and now we're actually going to colour them using our Spectrum Noir Classiques. I know we've got a fab bundle of these on the show today. And I'm going in with my DR3. It's a nice red colour. And I'm just flicking out from the centre outwards just to create almost like a veining effect onto there. And you don't need to be too precise. When you come to shape them, you won't notice if it's perfect colouring or perfect strokes. Just getting a little bit of shading, a little bit of extra detail onto there. It's going to look lovely. And I'm only colouring the one side on this particular instance.
There is some classics on the show. They are 95.90, 143.50. The details on the bottom of your screen were wrong there. We'll get those changed for you.
So just adding the colour onto that. And I'm only adding it onto the one side because when we come to shape this, I'm going to be shaping it a little bit different to our last flower. We're only going to see most of sort of the top side, so we don't need to worry about shaping both sides.
Details there on your screen for those classics as well. If you want to see all the colours that's in that collection, head over to the website. You'll find them under the Shop the Show button. Doesn't it add a lot of difference with the veins on? Makes a huge amount of difference.
Doesn't it just? Yeah, it's so quick and easy to do, and like I say, you don't have to be precise or anything like that, but it makes a massive difference. So it just makes your flowers look even more special. So we're shaping them again using our iron to add that little bit of heat. And then I'm using my ball tool and my foam mat just to add an extra little bit of shape onto there once we have heated them using the iron. And like I was saying earlier, it makes it a lot easier to shape once you've added that heat into there. And we're going in with the 4 layers. You can of course be using more. You could be using more of a range of sizes. So you could use, so here I'm only using the two different sizes of leaves, not petals. Well done, Lily, gold star there. But you could be using all of the different sizes of your layers because you get lots in there. You get 5 in that set, which is fabulous. Lots and lots to play with. And if you're not quite happy with the shape that you've done to a particular layer, just heat it again and you can go back in and shape it. So it is really, really forgiving, your flower shaping. You can shape them from behind like so if you want to cut them that particular way, or you can shape them from the front. Whichever way you shape them is going to add a real difference to your flowers. So you can be using exactly the same die set, but just by shaping them ever so slightly differently, it gives you such a different effect. It's almost like you wouldn't even know that it's the same die set. And like I say, you can create so many different types of flowers from one particular die set. It doesn't have to be sort of the name that we've called it. You can create lots of different fantasy flowers. So that's our 4 layers all shaped and ready to go. We're going to bring back in our hot glue gun and we're going to start to layer these together. So starting off, I always start off, well usually, sometimes it is a little bit different. As we'll see later when we come to do our pine cone, I tend to start off with my bottom layer, my largest layer of my flower, and then sort of build up towards the centre. So adding our little bit of hot glue into the centre there and staggering the petals like so, just to give us that fuller effect so that they overlap like so. And then we're going to go back into our next layer, which is now our smaller leaves. It's so difficult not to say petals, I've got to say. It's bizarre with saying leaves for a flower, but they definitely are leaves. And again, we're just staggering that, and then use your ball tool in the centre just to get that glue to grab and set. But again, it adds more shape onto our poinsettia. And then finally, we're going to go in with our top layer, adding our glue onto there like so. And then this is the very top layer. You can see the veining on there, what a difference it does make. It just really does bring the flower to life. You could be adding lots of different tones in there. You could be doing a lot of sort of fancy colouring in. I just added the one pen, just the one tone onto there. But of course, if you want to get a really, really dimensional, really interesting effect, you could be using several pens. You could be blending on there.
Nice.
But I do find the classiques work really well.
I bet like a blended alcohol marker onto like cardstock, then cut into a flower could be really cool with like an ombre.
Yeah, that would look fabulous. There's so many different things you can do. You can create all your own backgrounds, and then you can be die cutting those as well. So don't think about just cutting from perhaps white and then colouring. You can be creating your backgrounds and then die cutting into those, and that'll give you lots of different effects. I know we have days where we like to create lots and lots of different backgrounds, and then they can be perfect for grabbing those backgrounds that we've created. We've spent all that time creating those lovely backgrounds. Perhaps we're not quite sure what to do with them. Well, why not die cut them using your flower dies? Like we were saying earlier, it's not just about die cutting your foam. I know we're focusing on the foam today, but you can be die cutting so many different materials, your papers, your cardstocks, and it can be backgrounds that you've already created as well. And that will give you so many different fabulous looks with your flower making.
Question from Alicia, who says, good morning from Arkansas. I have a question. Can you use the same technique if you were using, would the technique be the same if you weren't using the foam essentially? So I think she means if you were using vellum or cardstock, would you still sort of shape it with the ball tools in the same way that you do with the flower, or would you change up the way that you do it?
So yeah, it's pretty much the same. The only difference is you don't need to heat it. So no iron for your cardstocks, or your vellums or your tissue papers. But apart from that, yeah, use your ball tools. You'll just find the sort of how rough you are with it just sort of differs between your different mediums. With things like your vellums, you need to be a lot more gentle. Okay. But yeah, definitely use your ball tools. With tissue paper, perhaps not. That tends to be more for scrunching up your flowers. But yeah, definitely for your paper flowers, use your ball tools. That works fabulously.
Excellent, hope that helps. Love the colours on the poinsettia, says Karen. Crafty and Quilling Lady says, my goal for this year is to try flower forming. I have so much fun. This is the year. Linda Vasquez says, so glad to watch this masterclass. I'm planning to learn flower forming this year and use more dimension on my cards. Shadiah says, stunning, loving it, Lily. And also Karen says, so pretty. Any questions you've got, get them into me. Crafters TV on Facebook, Crafters Companion across on YouTube, and I'll pop them across to the lovely Lily. I think you're inspiring a lot of people maybe to give this a go for the first time, which is nice. Yeah, that's lovely. It's always nice to try a new craft. I know I'm predominantly a card maker, and a lot of you guys are the same at home. We have sort of a style or a technique that we tend to gravitate towards, and we tend to use more often, but it's great to try something new. And like I was saying earlier, for me, last year was the year of the foam flowers. It was the year that I was like, right, I'm going to properly give it a go. I'm going to properly get stuck in and just go for it. And goodness me, I'm so pleased I did, because it's so much fun. And I'm so excited for you guys at home to actually be trying it. If you're trying it for the first time, it is really easy, as I hope I'm showing you here today. It's so easy to get started. I've even given it a go in the show once, you know, Lily, on my own in the studio. Not even anyone here for a safety blanket, and I was able to do it. I mean, I would have won Card of the Week, but there was a bit of an outcry. Georgina said that I wasn't eligible for Card of the Week, Lily. Well, that's absolutely outrageous. And there was an angry mob waiting for Georgina when she finished her shift that night. I still remind her of it on almost a weekly basis. I'll try and remind her when I see her next week. You do? Yeah, did you tell her? Yeah. So yeah, Georgina, I've got a bone to pick with you. Yeah. Right, we're going to go on to the pine cone now. So this is from the same collection.
So I'm cutting a few of the layers. You've got lots and lots of different sizes within this set. And when you first look at it, you might think, oh, how's that going to make a pine cone? But it makes a pine cone really quite easily, and it's a technique that's a little bit different to the flowers that we've done already. But of course, you could be using these as flowers. You don't have to be creating your pine cones with those. Those could be petals of a flower. So like we were saying earlier, so many different things you can be doing with these flower die sets. Don't just think of what we've named them. Think of them as being so much more. You'll get so much more from your products by working in that way. So we're going to start building up our pine cone. Now I've cut two of the, I don't know what to call it, they're not petals, but we'll call it petals. What do you call like the pieces of
right, I'm on the Googles. Look,
there'll be some really, really fancy name, that's for sure, but we don't know what it is yet. So we're going to start off with our smaller ones, our 3 petal, or whatever we're going to call them. We're just going to shape those like so that they cup upwards. I'm going to do the same with the next one. So I've cut 2 of each of the 3 sizes that we've chosen.
Cone scale.
Ooh, scales.
It's made up, wondering what the 4 parts of a pine cone are: the open cone, the closed cone, the cone scale, and the seed.
Good grief. This is a lot more complicated than I was
I'm just going on to biology.com and having a little look at the closed cone. Oh. I think they're called the open cones.
The open cones?
Yeah.
Wow.
Sounds like ice cream, doesn't it?
Oh, I'm not sure it's quite the weather for ice cream.
Oh,
No, mind you, we've had this discussion before. It's always the weather for ice cream,
always
isn't
the
it?
weather for ice cream. I took a friend out for lunch the other day for his like a belated birthday thing, and we went to Chinatown and got to like a matcha ice cream place, and it was like 3 degrees outside. I think you can always eat ice cream. It's never too cold for an ice cream.
Just wrap up warm and you'll be
Absolutely.
all right, yeah. I have to say, it does feel like hot pudding weather though at the moment.
Oh,
Be
yes.
like a nice hot pudding, a nice apple pie.
Oh, I was going to say
custard.
apple crumble or rhubarb crumble.
Oh,
custard,
yeah. Oh, now we're
delicious.
talking.
It doesn't take long to get back to food. Less than an hour.
It doesn't, does it? Mind you, it's like Sunday afternoon. People at home will be having their Sunday dinners soon. So
I was thinking, hey, I wonder if we could get a Sunday dinner delivered.
it wouldn't feel the same, would it? Do you know?
I don't know.
I'm not sure how I feel about that.
But I mean, any Yorkshire pudding's better than no Yorkshire pudding, really.
Well, I love a Yorkshire pudding.
Oh, absolutely. They're called, we worked out, they do have them in the US, they're called popovers in the US.
Good grief.
Yeah.
Never heard of
And
that.
it makes sense, they sort of pop over the top of the tray, don't they?
Yeah. Interesting. So this is sort of reminding me of a Sunday dinner. We've got some tin foil. It's nice. It's not off a roast turkey. Don't worry. It's fresh. It's clean. It's okay. And this is going to form the centre of our pine cone. Because it's only a very small little area there, we're just using a tiny little bit of the foil and just scrunch that up into sort of, it almost looks like a little wizard's hat.
It does, doesn't it?
Yeah. What did Michelle call it? A Reese's Kiss or something.
What?
When we had the masterclass over Christmas,
Yeah.
I was watching and she called it a Reese's chocolate kiss.
Oh, do you know there's Reese's pieces at the back in the on the prep table?
Is there?
Yeah.
Maybe that's where she's got it from, but yeah.
I'll get you one, Lily, just so you've got one.
Thank you. Yeah, but that's what she was calling it. I'm going to go with a little wizard's hat, but you know, just a little bit of scrunched up foil. And if we add that into the centre of our very smallest layer and just sort of wrap around our pine cone scales onto this, you'll need an extra little bit.
There you are.
Of
It was the penultimate one.
Oh, thank you.
Brent brought them back from New York for us. How
Oh
kind of him.
wow, that's come all the way from New York.
It
How
has,
exciting.
yeah.
But yeah, I can sort of see the shape now. So, Wizard's Hat, Reese's Kiss, other brands are of course available. But that's the very, very centre of our pine cone. But how easy was that to create? Literally with just a little bit of silver foil scrunched up into that shape and then wrapping our pine cone around the outside. Now we're going to move on to the next layer. So I'm popping a bit of glue in the middle and then wrapping the pine cone scales around the edge like so. So in this instance, we're working from the centre outwards, whereas on the others, we were working from the very bottom layer up to the top. Here we're working from the centre outwards. And I'd use a really similar technique when I'm actually doing my buds for flowers. So once you've mastered this technique, you really will be aware. You can use it for your buds, you can use it for your pine cones, acorns, anything like that. Just building it up, having something in the centre. Now you could be using a bead if you prefer, or you can even use a little scrunched up piece of foam, but I just find a little bit of tin foil is really easy. I usually have some to hand in the kitchen. And you only need a tiny little scrap. You don't need a lot of it, but it just makes a difference. Just gives you that filling in the middle of your pine cone. So I'm layering up the layers here, really easy. Again, using my hot glue to add it to every single layer like so. You can see that the pine cone takes shape really, really quite easily. I must say, when I first saw this die set, I wasn't too sure how it was going to come together, and then when you look at it and break down the layers, you can see it's actually really simple to put together. I hope that that's what we're showing you today. It's a few basic skills, a few basic techniques, and you really will be away with your flower and foliage making, because like we're seeing here, it's not just about flowers, it's about all your foliage as well too, like your pine cones, which is what really finishes off your sort of floral arrangements. So you can see how easily that little pine cone came together. Now we're going to start layering up our card. So we're going to pop all these lovely embellishments onto a card. So I've got a craft card base here, and I'm just going to get one of my tape runners. I'm going to start to lay this card up just like so. So we're going to go for a Christmas card. So we've got some lovely pattern papers, and that's a dotty tape runner. So I'm going to get my solid one. And these are actually, I don't know if you guys heard us whittering on about them yesterday, but these are back in stock, which we're all incredibly excited about. I know Sarah had them on Cartload the other night, and we were all very, very excited about that, because they are fabulous, and it makes our mat and layering so quick and easy. Can build up our layers really quickly, and we know that it's going to stick really, really well. And then I've got a sentiment here, so I'm just going to get my fine tip glue applicator. So we've added some pattern papers into the background, then we've added one of our decorative frames. It's sort of a Christmassy type frame. We do have some fabulous decorative frames coming up actually tonight on Second Chance Sunday.
Oh yes, we'll have some of the best deals of the week, won't we, Lily, later?
Yeah, oh, I love Second Chance Sunday because it's like second bite the cherry.
Yeah.
If you've missed anything, we've got all the best stuff from the week coming back up. So there's lots and lots of goodies, but I know we've got a fabulous bundle.
And also, we get to decide the project of the week as well.
Oh, it's exciting, it's exciting. I can't wait to find out. There's been some fab demos this first week. I know it's our first week of the new year, but there's certainly no easing us in gently.
It feels like New Year's Eve was about 3 months ago now.
I know what you mean, but at the same time, it's gone really, really quick. It's one of those,
like
those
it's really
weird
flown
ones.
by, like really flown by. Cindy says, Lily, did you place another piece of foam over to hide the foil?
What we did is we used a piece of foil in the centre, and then we wrapped around our first layer. So we used this layer, one of those cut, was what we wrapped around the foil. Can you see in the very, very centre?
Yeah.
So we just started off with our first layer to cover that really quite easily, but plenty of glue on that first layer, not just in the centre, but along the scales too, just so that covers that really nicely. Then we're going to start arranging our flowers and leaves and everything onto there. So we were asked earlier about our threads. So in this instance, I'll just show you can just cut them off really, really easily. And because I am sticking this to my project straight away, I'm not worrying about the fact that I've chopped those off. I'm not chopping it too close. We don't want any accidents, do we, Joe? We don't
Absolutely not.
We don't want any crochet.
No
short.
crochet incidents.
Yeah.
2.0.
Yeah, we don't want a second helping. So don't cut them too short, but you can snip them off, and then adding that on with our hot glue.
Apparently, crochet shorts are going to be one of the fashion trends for this summer.
Wow.
I was obviously ahead of the curve, wasn't I?
Quite clearly.
3 years ago, I made a pair of rainbow crochet shorts.
Wow.
There you go.
Very much ahead of your time, but have you still got them?
Some might say trendsetter, Lily.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I certainly would.
Is there a way to tighten up your pine cone? Asked Karen.
Oh, what I would do in order to get a tighter pine cone is, you know how with the first layer we actually stuck the scales to the foil, so applying glue to each edge. I'd do that on other layers as well. So I wouldn't just pop the glue at the very base, I'd pop the glue onto each layer there as well, and that allows you to sort of wrap it around, and then it'll be secure if you do want a tighter pine cone. So yeah, absolutely, it's completely up to you. Whatever effect you'd prefer to achieve with your little pine cones, you can do that just with the amount of glue that you're adding onto there.
Fabulous.
So we've created some of the poinsettias using the darker foam. You do get this foam as well in that bundle, so just goes to show you can use your darker foam and you can use your lighter foam as well. You get poinsettias in lots and lots of different colours, and by mixing up your tones on your projects, it's just going to give you even more interest, which is going to look absolutely fabulous, and it's just going to make your projects look that little bit more special. So layering those up onto there just like so. Can you see you're able to manipulate the foam even when it's being stuck down? You're still able to manipulate it and change it around a little bit. With these pine cones, we've used a slightly different technique. We've actually threaded some wire through the middle, so absolutely you can be doing that if you find that easier. There's so many different techniques to create sort of similar things. Just have a play, see what you find easiest. If you prefer tighter looking pine cones,
these would look great, I think, Lily, on something like a Thanksgiving, like a box frame or something. You wanted to, or a really lovely, like framed scrapbook page would look wonderful.
Absolutely, yeah. I think them in a really deep box frame would look fab. Around wreaths, like a Hessian type wreath would look fabulous. Yeah, it doesn't just have to be cards or boxes. It can be absolutely anything you like at all. And then finally we've cut some of the holly, which is also from the same collection, and that hot glue gun is determined to run away. It's had enough. Don't know what's wrong with it. I'm having a whale of a time creating these, and it wants to leave. But the brilliant thing about this holly is that you actually get the deboss lines into there as well. So by taking one of my classics, and this is DG3, we can just follow those deboss lines that we've already got onto there to add an extra little bit of colour. So we could be inking these, we could even be adding, our gilding wax would look nice onto these actually. But by adding our classics, we just add that little bit of shading onto there. And it's really, really easy to do, just following those lines that we've already got onto there, already been debossed. And we can just add that just to finish it off. Your foliage is very much your finishing touch. You don't always need foliage, like on that first project that we created, the box, we didn't have any foliage onto that, but I think in this instance it works really quite nicely with the green tones that we've got in the background as well. So we're just going to finish this off with a few bits of holly, just keeping in with the Christmas theme. We've shaped these in a similar way, so we've heated them using our iron, and then we've just gone in with a ball tool to add that extra little bit of shape. But just to finish off our project, I might add perhaps another one into there, or perhaps even I'm going to add in another pine cone. So when you're doing your arrangements, just have a look and just see if there's any extra space that you need to fill. And if there is, just go back in and add in extra flowers, extra foliage, just to fill out the space, so you get a really, really nice full arrangement onto there. Then just play about with all your petals and all your leaves, just to make sure everything's sitting exactly how you want it. And when you finish, you can see that very, very easily you can create a really, really nice finished card, just like so.
Absolutely gorgeous, really is. Lots of love for this. Joe says, Connie says, Joe, you are indeed a trendsetter. Karen says, another beautiful card. And Lily also says, I love the colours in this card. They are beautiful. If you want to go for this, absolutely you can. Let me share with you the collection that you're going to receive. Here we're going to you've got the poinsettia, the holly, the autumn leaves, the pine cone. You get the autumn hues and the holiday hues in the foam, and also in the corresponding stamens as well. 44, 94, 58, 20. We've got some small and large die and stamp storage folders for you on the show. Let's do the large one first. Now, to give you the details for them. So, what these are essentially are your storage wallets. They're just a 3-ring binder, so anything that goes on the 3-ring binder can go in here. You're going to get 2 packs of magnetic panels with these, so it's a 3 in a pack, Johnny, so you're getting 6 panels in total, and it is a perfect way to store your dies. Dies are one of those things, aren't they? As long as you look after them, you're going to have them in your crafty stash forever, and this is a perfect way for you to store them to ensure that they're not going to get bent or buckled or ruined in any way. So you've got it in the large one. You've got pockets on the insides of here as well. Really lovely quality, these. So you can go for the large one, or you can go for exactly the same in the smaller one, which is the A5 size for you there. Small one, 19.98, 21.94. You guys have been sending pictures in for us, which I love. Check this out, Lily. Look at that.
Wow, that
amazing,
is
isn't it?
stunning. Just goes to show how far you can take your foam flowers. That looks absolutely amazing.
Yeah,
Thank you so much for sending that in.
Love
Fab.
that. And also Kathy sent this one in for us as well.
Oh,
That's
see,
a
I was
great
talking about
card.
Hessian wreaths. Yeah, how fab does that look? Wow, fab job. Love it.
Really beautiful. Have you got some pictures of your flower forming foam? Yeah, flower forming foam
That
makes
one.
you'd like to send us. You can do so. We'd love to see your pictures. studio@crafterscompanion.co.uk is where you need to send those into. Details there on the bottom of your screen. Let's give you a minute. I'm going to give you another opportunity to check out your baskets whilst you do that. Here's all the details of US delivery.
We've had to make some changes to our shipping charges and we want to keep you informed. With continued pressure on domestic shipments around mainland US, we've had to temporarily increase the cost of our regular 6 to 10 working day standard shipping service from $9.99 to $12.95 and our free shipping threshold from $100 to $125. We also have some really great news to tell you. We've introduced a brand new shipping service called Express Delivery. This is a fully tracked door-to-door service which takes 3 to 7 working days and costs $19.95. This option means you'll get your crafty goodies in your hands sooner, meaning less waiting and more crafting. We're also upgrading delivery services for our Gold and Platinum Club Inspire members who will now receive priority delivery on all of their orders. And if that wasn't enough, we've upgraded these orders to our new Express 3 to 7 day service. Your patience and understanding throughout this very busy time has been amazing. So we'd just like to say a huge thank you and we look forward to chatting to you again very soon.
Quick Buy, all your crafty must-haves in a flash. Take all the hard work out of patchwork with the Gemini Build-A-Block Patchwork System. This innovative collection of multimedia dies allows you to create patchwork blocks with ease and total accuracy. This set includes 18 dies to cut a range of shapes and sizes for patchwork or quilting projects. They can cut multiple layers of fabric at once. They include an accurate 1/4 inch seam allowance, plus all of your pieces are cut exactly the same size every time. Follow your own creative inspiration or look through the 20 patterns laid out in the guide. Not enough? There's an additional 60 patterns online. And right now, we have amazing offers on the Gemini Build-A-Block Patchwork System. Quick Buy, get yours now. Welcome to Crafters TV. With more than 35 hours of live shows each week, it's your home for all things craft. We shine the spotlight on new and innovative crafting products with live tutorials and demonstrations. Join our family of craft experts where fun happens every day.
Quiet. The neighbours.
I'm all out of Zoom. I'm so lost without you. I'm not singing.
Lisa, if you email in, don't send a picture of your air fryer. Make sure it's something creative.
Get creative and craft along. With our amazing deals, your next craft project is just a click away. Tune in live 7 days a week, or you can watch us on Catch Up at crafterscompanion.com, Facebook, or our YouTube channels. You can chat to us, craft along, and meet new friends by joining our online crafting community.
You entertain us. You give us a community to talk, in the chat. That wouldn't happen without you guys. It's like Crafters Companion is magical. There's magic here.
Joy, there's not a dry eye in the studio here. Debbie's welling up, I'm welling up.
There's a show for every type of crafter, from first-time dabblers to full-time makers. Crafters TV, create every day.
Loads and loads of love for all the things that Lily's created in this hour. Mary Pat says, good morning from sunny Montana. Oh, Lily, what a gorgeous card. Barbara says, stunning. Pat sends paper hugs. Is what her name is. She says, this is absolutely gorgeous, Lily. And Pamela says, the card looks beautiful. I think I have to give it a try. We have to as well wish a big happy birthday to the lovely Teresa D'Amico. It's her birthday today. Happy birthday, Teresa, from all of us here at Crafters TV. Right, we're going to move on. I want to remind you of this awesome collection of foam that we've got. Great deal on this. If you were looking for a restock on your flower forming foam, then this is definitely it. In a whole array of colours that will take you all the way through the year, which is what I love. So you've got the holiday hues, you've got the autumn hues, spring hues, foliage greens, a floral bouquet. You'll also get the natural white in there as well, which is fantastic. So you get all of those, which is brilliant. 31.96 or 45.80. That platinum's down to 25.57 or 36.64, which is brilliant. The Belle of the Countryside is what I'm going for. Johnny calls it Belle of the Countryside. I think it's just Belle Countryside, Johnny. Yeah, Belle of the Countryside though. Yeah. Anyway, what you've got in here, you've got 12 sheets of the flower forming foam. If you own the Belle Countryside collection, brilliant. This is all going to work brilliantly with it, but you can also use it on its own as a standalone. It's a really, really lovely colour tone that you've got, and you're also going to get the precious peonies there as well, the dye that goes with that. And that's the one that Lily was talking about with the quilling stamen, which goes in the centre of there. You're saving a fifth here, which is awesome. 15.98. 1914 if you are a platinum member. Right, I believe we're going to go back to Lily for yet more inspiration. What's next, Lily?
Absolutely, I'm going to look at the Belle Countryside / Belle of the Countryside, whatever you prefer to call it. I'll let you into a little secret actually. It's quite funny, a lot of people in the office get the name of this one wrong. A lot of them call it Belle Manor.
Belle Manor, yes, yeah, that's what I've called it before.
Yeah, I think that was originally what it was called. So nobody really knows the name of this, but it's lovely. That's all you need to know. Get it in your baskets, it's lovely.
The other one that people struggle with is Enchanted Dreams.
Do they? What?
People call it Enchanted Forest all the time.
Yes, I've heard that.
Yeah.
Did we have another collection called Enchanted Forest?
I don't think so. Did we, Johnny?
Enchanted Forest?
No.
It sort of rings a bell, but I don't know. But yeah, there's certain names of collections, isn't there? And it just becomes a bit of a mental block.
Yeah, just call them what you want.
Yeah, they're just nice, pretty flowers. Just play with them, make nice stuff. It's all good. Let's not worry about the names too much. Right, we're going to play with this lovely collection, our Belle Countryside. So you're getting a set of dies and you're also getting the foam. And I have to say the foam within this collection, the colour tones are absolutely gorgeous. So if you do have the actual collection itself, it's going to match perfectly with the papers. But if not, you've got enough to craft with here without using the collection. You can just be creating your lovely foam flowers and adding them to any of your projects at all. Any of your lovely decorative frames, any of your Hessian wreaths, they're going to work absolutely gorgeously. It's not just about using them with this particular collection. Now I'm taking, it's the second largest and the third largest. I'm not using the largest of the Peony dies from the particular set. I'm going to cut two layers of each. I'm going to create these lovely peony flowers. So,
you know, I said about ombre lay earlier. Do you know the other one that really gets me every time?
Yeah, go on.
When anyone ever says peony,
yeah,
I think it sounds like Tina Turner singing Steamy Windows. I sing Peony Windows in my head all the time.
Oh dear.
It's a very busy place up there.
Funny. It's funny things like that, isn't it? When you get a certain idea in your head and you can't sort of shake it.
I think we did dies. We did a die set. We did some floral window dies ages ago, and one of them was called Peony Window. And I think that's where it came from. And now, then I say it in my head like Tina Turner, and now every time I see a peony, I can't help it. Just can't help myself.
It's like I was saying, because we did the Enchanted Dreams collection as a masterclass yesterday afternoon. It's fabulous, but there's a lovely hot air balloon dye in there. I don't know if you've seen it. But I have a real mental block with hot air balloon. I always want to say hot water bottle.
Hot water bottle?
And it's like, I know it's not a hot water bottle, but I'm really struggling with this one. It's bizarre. It's like,
I always think of hot water bottles being like off the olden days. But loads of my mates have hot water bottles.
Oh, I love them.
Do you?
Absolutely love them. Yeah, they keep you ever so warm.
Really?
Brilliant, yeah.
I always think of being quite old-fashioned.
Well, maybe I am quite old-fashioned, but
Johnny's got a gonk one, apparently.
Yes, we were hearing about this yesterday. Yeah. It's fabulous.
Do you know what I would like, though? And I don't know if they're energy efficient or not. I need to look into it. I really think the time has come to get a heated sheet.
Well, actually, my mum actually asked me if I wanted one for Christmas. I refused.
I need one.
But yeah, I do quite like the idea. I bet they are fabulous.
It gets very cold in my apartment. I think, oh, pop a heated sheet on in the morning.
Oh,
I'd be like a little Pop-Tart in a toaster, ready to go.
Nothing better. Yeah. Anyway, so we've cut out I've gone for 3 different sizes in the end. I did say I was going to do 2, but I decided I want a really, really full peony. So peonies are, like I tend to say, they're a proper flower, a nice big blousy flower. We want lots of layers onto there, lots of dimension. So it's going to create a really lovely full flower. So we've got 6 layers of the 3 different sizes, and we ran them through our die cutting machine. And I was only cutting the 2 layers, but like we said earlier, you can be cutting up to about 8 or 10. So if you are batch making, if you are making lots and lots of flowers at any one time, like we were talking about earlier, if you're just having a bit of a mammoth flower making session, then this is going to be perfect because you can cut so many layers of your flowers all in one pass through your machine. Now, like I say, these are smaller dies, so they're going to be perfect for your smaller format machines. I'm using my Gemini Junior today. They're going to be great for your mini, your midi, your go. If you are going out and about, perhaps moving from room to room or even getting out in the caravan, it might not be quite the weather at the moment to be going out to the seaside, but if you are, then these are going to be perfect to take with you with just your little manual machines. You can sit by the telly on an evening, cutting out lots of flowers, popping your flowers together, and then perhaps the next day you're going to be back in your craft room and actually putting them onto your finished cards and projects. So it's such a nice little, and it's a little bit of crafting you can do with the whole family, when everyone else is around. Perhaps you sat around watching the telly and you're not particularly interested on what's on the telly.
Yeah, I guess you could just put this for your mini as well if you wanted to.
Yeah, absolutely. So have your little lap tray. Perhaps you're not particularly interested on what's on the telly, but you want to spend time with your family members, then this is going to be perfect because you can still be spending time with your loved ones, but you're getting a little bit crafty at the same time too, which is absolutely brilliant. So with these, I'm actually inking both sides, again like we did when we created our flowers at the very beginning of the show. We're inking both sides because we are really going to shape these and we want the colour to be showing on both sides. So I'm using the same fuchsia water reactive. I could be using my quick dries, that would work really nicely as well. But in this instance, I'm using my fuchsia water reactive ink pad with just one of my finger daubers. And that gives us that lovely blush of colour onto there. Now I'm going to start the shaping process, so we're going to go a little bit different this time. So I'm heating up my flour, and then I'm going to use what I've heard Ben calls a finger toboggan.
A finger toboggan? I've heard that as well.
Or a clog, finger clog. Finger clog. I don't know, it's what petal distress tool is what we technically call it. So if you're buying your lovely ball tools today, you're actually getting in the bundle this little kit for free, and it's absolutely fabulous. I have no idea how anybody came up with this idea, but my goodness me, I'm so glad they did, because look how easy it is to create those distressed petals. So just add a little bit of heat to your flour, lay it down on your mat, get your little clog on your finger, and some of the team you'll see they fold all of the petals over. So you can actually just sort of ruche them up like so it gets them almost into like a single petal. And then just go over and just rough that up a little bit, and that's going to give us that lovely, really natural, slightly distressed effect to our petals, but really quite easily. We're not having to worry about it or think about it too much. It's just going to give us that little bit of shape onto there.
And lovely that it gives you a different effect to just the heating it and cupping it on its own.
Absolutely. So like we were saying earlier, there's so many different techniques when it comes to shaping all of your flowers and your petals. So you can be using exactly the same die set, but you can get so many different effects just from the way you shape the petals, which is fabulous, because even with one die set, you're getting so much craftability, which is what we want, isn't it, really? We want lots of options when we're crafting.
Absolutely. Karen asked how many layers you can cut at once, maximum?
We say up to about 8 to 10.
Perfect.
Yeah, but definitely just, and that's of the foam. Because it's actually really thin. When we think of foam, we tend to think of the funky foam, the really thick stuff that we had as children and we sort of cut shapes out of, but this is very different. This is super thin, which is what allows us to shape. It's specially been specifically designed for our flower shaping, so it is really thin, so we can be cutting about 8 to 10 layers, but like I say, just have an experiment. Your Gemini is obviously going to be perfect for your die cutting, so you'll probably be able to cut more with that than perhaps with other die cutting machines that are not quite as powerful, but you can still, even with other machines, you can still cut lots and lots of layers at once, which is brilliant, because it's all about the layers with our flowers. We're building up our layers of petals to get these really realistic effects. Nee
says I need to try a weighted blanket. Apparently that's the way to stay warm in the winter. I've never had a go at a weighted blanket, have you?
It sounds a bit painful, I'll be honest.
Very heavy. Do you put your, so the problem I've got, right, is I'm only 5'8". I don't have very long arms, and I've got a king-size duvet. You should see me battling to try and change the duvet cover. It can take me 20 minutes to get that duvet cover on.
I can't change duvets.
Imagine if With your weighted blanket, does it go in a duvet cover? Because if it did, can you imagine me trying to wrestle with a weighted?
Forget it.
It's never going to happen.
No.
Never going to happen.
Oh, I'm not sure about that idea. It might be one of those where you try it and it's like, right, okay, this is brilliant. But
people that I know that have got them absolutely rave about them.
I've not heard anybody who's got one, actually.
Yeah. If you've got
might be worth a go.
A heated blanket.
Weighted
blanket, let us know. The distressing makes them look so real, says Kay.
Doesn't it just? It's
really
fab, isn't
does.
it? But so easy.
Lynn says, hello, I just made the show. Happy to see Lily here today. She is easy to follow and she makes beautiful, all in capital things, as she did yesterday. And Joe, you are always amazing. Thank you, Lynn.
That's lovely. Thank you so much. It's brilliant to be here. It's got some fab shows today, so I'm very, very happy that I'm here today. I can't wait for Second Chance Sunday as well. We've got some fab things on that show. But layering up our petals, just like we did with all the other flowers. The only difference has been that we've used that petal distress tool to get that lovely realistic effect.
They almost look like they could be on a wedding cake, these, don't they? They've got
yeah,
a real sort of look to them.
Yeah, they do almost look like icing, don't they? Which is making me really hungry. I'm thinking of a lovely big chocolate cake now.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
We've got food on the brains then.
From one food to the another, isn't it? Yeah, it's not good.
You are a fountain of knowledge, says Stephanie.
Oh, thank you so much. That is very, very kind. But yeah, it's just loving what you do, just playing and experimenting, and picking up skills along the way. You find, after you've made a few flowers, you'll find what works best for you. You'll find what's easiest for you and what you really enjoy. But look how lovely that looks, just building up the layers
really
onto
lovely.
there like so. Then we're going to add on a couple of stamens, so exactly the same technique as that we've looked at earlier. So just piercing a hole through the centre. We're using our pokey tool. Now these poke tools are actually perfect for this because they get quite wide at the top, so it allows us to get quite a nice sizable hole into the centre of our flowers. So we've got enough space to thread our stamens through. And again, just like we did with all the others, we've folded our stamens in half. So I'm just using the 2 stamens, and I don't think that hole's quite big enough, so I'm just going to go back in and make that hole a little bit larger so we can actually squeeze those stamens through really nicely. So folding that in half, twisting. Some people actually use a hair grip to try and thread this through, and they find that easier. I tend just to do it this way, but whatever's easiest for you.
Yeah, I know a lot of other people like to use wire, don't they? But actually this looks quite simple this way, of just making the hole a little bit more sizable and then just popping them straight through. Seems quite straightforward.
Most people I know do use the wire, but I just find it a little bit faffy, I'll be honest. I just find it easy just to thread it straight through. But whatever works best for you, then definitely just go for that. Now we're going to cut a few leaves now. So we've not cut any leaves today yet, but a lot of the sets that we've got on today's show do actually incorporate a load of the leaves, which is brilliant. And it's no different in this die set. So we've actually got 2 different sizes of the leaves. We're going to cut a few of these. Like we were saying earlier, you can cut lots and lots of layers at once. We say about 8 to 10, but just have a little experiment and see how many you can cut. But I think we're going to go for 3 of each, and that should give us plenty. I always say don't worry about cutting too many out, because you will just use them on another project. Just pop your cut pieces in a little box. They don't have to be made up into flowers or into projects. Just pop them in a little box, and then when you come to craft again in the future, you can just get them out and you've got some pieces that have already been cut, and it's just the first part of the process already done for you. But it just means when you've cut loads, it just means that you've got plenty to play with, so it's always better to have too much than not enough, for sure. Just running that through our Gemini Junior, so it's nice and quick to pass through that, and then that's cut us 6 different leaves, and one of them is slightly larger than the other, so it's quite nice we get the variety in the sizes, which gives us more of a realistic finish when we are building up our bouquets and our floral arrangements, whether they be on our cards or scrapbook pages, box frames, any sort of home decor piece. They can even be brooches, hairbands. So much you can do with your lovely flowers. Now we're going to start building up our card base. So I'm using some of the papers that are from the actual Bell Countryside collection. If you don't have this in your crafty stash already, check out the website. We might still have a few left, but if not, you can be using any papers at all that you've got within your crafty stash just to build up those layers. And then we've taken one of the stamps, the matching stamps and dies from the collection, this little frame to add into the centre. Now this could be a lacy die cut frame, it could be a stamped sentiment, it could be a verse, it could be one of your hunky-dory toppers if you prefer. Anything at all just to be our focal element into the centre that we're going to embellish using our gorgeous handmade flowers. So we're going to bring back in our hot glue gun and we're going to start to arrange these. So what I'd always recommend when you are creating your arrangements, I'd always lay them out first before you actually come to stick them down, just to see where you want to stick them, where you're going to be happy with them. And then once you're happy with where they're going to go, I'm not actually going to cut even those threads this time, because they will actually be hidden underneath the petals, so I don't need to worry about cutting them if I don't want to. I'm going to lay that onto there with a little bit of hot glue just to make sure that it's going to stick nice and firmly, and then I'm just going to loop that over and then I'm going to add some glue just to catch that so that we're not going to see it underneath the petals. But of course, like we did earlier, you can be cutting those if you find that a little bit easier, but there's always a way to hide those threads, so you don't need to worry about those being seen. So the larger flower, we use exactly the same die set, but instead of starting from the second size down, we started with the very largest of the petals, the flowers, that's the one. And then we're going to add our leaves into the centre. So it's exactly the same technique for the large flower as the one that we saw with the smaller flower. So it's like I was saying earlier, once you've mastered the technique, you really will be away. You can apply it to your different styles of flowers, different sizes of flowers, different colours, bringing in your different ways of colouring them, adding your gilding waxes, even sticking your fingers to your projects like I am now. Always take care with your hot glue. It is hot, I have to say. I don't tend to burn my fingers very much. They're sort of used to the heat, but definitely do as I say, not as I do.
Right.
And make sure you keep your fingers out of the way of the hot glue.
I guess you could use tweezers for this little bit if you want to.
Absolutely, that would definitely be a good idea to use your tweezers. Makes it a lot easier and a lot safer. But of course, you don't have to be using your hot glue at all. You can be using your chunky glue.
Chunky.
You can be using your tacky glue as well. Just like I said earlier, you will need to wait for that to dry, but that's absolutely fine if you've got if you're a little bit less impatient than I am, then that will work really well. But the finishing touch are these leaves. They're just going to bring the whole project together. I think I'm going to add the final one into there just to finish it off. And it almost sort of grounds your flowers. It gives it that little bit of foliage, gives it more of a realistic effect, and just finishes off that whole arrangement. But you can see so easily with just 2 flowers onto there, using the same technique to shape them, but different colours and different sizes, onto a card using the Bell Countryside collection. How quickly and easily did that come together, but so much fun to create.
Yeah, really, really awesome. 1998, 23.92 if you want to get this. Remember what you're getting in here then, you're going to get the Peony, which is this one just here, with that lovely quilled stamen, and then you're also going to get the Bell Countryside in there as well, or Bell of the Countryside, as Johnny likes to call it. 12 sheets there for you in there, all beautifully colour matched with the collection, but you can use it on its own as well if you want to. Now, up next, I want to share with you, we're going to go back to this one here, which is the 6-piece die collection. So in here, you're going to get some different ones. So this one here, this one here is your clover, I believe, that's been used there. And then you've also got the peony. Sorry, that one's a peony and that one's a clover. So you've got those in there. Different style of peony than the one that's in the Bell Country. So 2 different options for you there if you really do love your peonies. This one here is the ivy. Love that one. Really great for adding lots of texture. And then you've also got the holly. I'll get that the right way around at some point during the show, won't I? Also, we have the foliage in there. Foliage is an absolute essential. Great cut in both paper and in foam, that one. And then the other one we have here is the autumn leaves, as you can see there, which incidentally was the name of the 2015 Belarusian Eurovision entry. autumn leaves. Here you go for all you Eurovision heads out there. We are getting back to that time of the year, I'm afraid, where you thought that, you know, Craig and WrestleMania was tedious. You just wait. Right, let's see what everyone's saying at home. Right, lots of questions are coming in. The next one I want to share with you is Enchanted Dreams. So within here, what you're going to get is... I do have it, Johnny, sorry. I just hadn't got it out. Here we go. I found it, don't you worry. I'll cut this bit out later. I was thinking about Eurovision, to be honest, and I just caught myself drifting away. You've got two different die sets in here. So you've got the Bewitching Blooms and the Beautiful Blossom as well. Let me show you some of the things you're going to be able to create with these. They are absolutely stunning projects there, as you can see. What you've then got in here are the stamens, which are coloured specifically for this collection, and then the foam to go with it as well, which is a 12 sheets in that particular one there. Lots of you chatting away in the comments still. Any questions you've got, get them into me. Crafters TV over on Facebook, Crafters Companion across on YouTube. So we've got time to squeeze another demonstration. I'm sure we've got time, haven't we, Lily?
Always, yeah. There's always time to be making more flowers for sure. But we're going to have a little look now at the Enchanted Dreams collection, which incidentally we also have coming up on Second Chance Sundays.
Oh, awesome.
Oh, we've got new stuff as well.
New stuff?
Yeah, oh, yeah. Oh, it's exciting, Joe. It's going to be a cracking show. New
Enchanted Dreams?
Yes. Oh, it's going to be fun.
Oh, I was going to tell you what it was then, but you'll have to tune in and find out. Or you'll have to shop ahead in the break.
Yeah, for sure. But if you've not seen it yet, my goodness me, are you in for a treat? It's absolutely fabulous. And I know you guys were loving it yesterday. But what we're going to focus on now is we're going to focus just on the flowers from the collection. So I have cut I believe it's the Beautiful Blossom. I've cut a few different layers from our lovely purple foam, and this is included in your collection as well. So not only are we bringing you the dies, we're also bringing you the flowers, the flower forming foam even, and the stamens. So you've got everything you need to start creating these gorgeous flowers. And I've cut these using some of our lovely purple foam. I've cut several layers, starting with the largest in the collection. And like usual, we're starting off by heating them using our iron. I always want to call it a heat tool because I don't use it for ironing. It's all about crafting. But yeah, it's definitely
I love ironing.
Do you?
Do you know what it is?
Grief.
I got one of those big steam ones, you know, like ones.
Yeah.
And since then, ironing feels like some sort of exciting game now.
Well, I know. Well, I'll be bringing my ironing.
Absolutely.
Get ready next time you're in.
Pile in next time you're in. I'll take it off. It's a 4-day. It'll be a 4-day service though, because I'm away for 4 days. I'll bring it back.
That's all right. You know, I can live with that. And I'll just carry on using my iron for crafting. It sounds perfect to me. So we're heating these up, and then we're just shaping them really, really simply using our ball tools. Using a fairly small one for these fairly small little petals, and we're just going to cup them upwards really easily like so. I'm using, as usual, a range of different sizes. So I've got 2 of the largest, 2 of the second largest, and I've got 1 of the third largest, just this little diddy one. So I'll use a small little ball tool. I think I'll use my smallest ball tool just to shape this and cup up the petals like we did with the others. And if you ever look at any of your petals that you've just shaped and you're not too happy with them, the brilliant thing about the foam is you can literally just go back, heat it again, get a little bit more heat onto there, and then just reshape them until you're happy with them, which is absolutely fantastic because there's no sort of mistakes. You can go back in and rectify anything you're not particularly happy with, which just makes it a lot easier. Right, so then we're going to start popping this together. So move my iron out of the way and bring in the hot glue gun, which is not falling off just yet, but I think it's just a matter of time before it runs away. Add a little bit of the hot glue into the centre. We're starting off with our base, which is our largest flower. Then adding our next one onto there. Again, staggering the petals just to give us that fuller, more filled in effect to our flowers. And then bringing in our next layer up, which is the smaller of the flowers, just to give us that little bit of variety rather than creating your flowers using all the same size of the different layers. Using your different sizes of layers gives you a lot more variety, a lot more interest to your foam flowers. But of course, if you want to be using your papers, you could of course be cutting these from the gorgeous 6x6 or 12x12 inch paper pads that we've got in Enchanted Dreams collection, and you can be creating your paper flowers using exactly the same technique. Apart from the heating, you don't need to heat your paper flowers using an iron. Using the same technique of shaping, using your foam mat and your ball tool, and then just sticking them together. I'd probably be using my tacky glue for my paper flowers, just because it will dry a lot quicker on your paper than it will do on your foam. But sticking them together and adding the stamens, I'd be using exactly the same technique as when I'm doing the foam flowers. So like I say, it's just the same skills. Once you've mastered the skills of creating your flowers, you can apply the same techniques to your foam flowers as you do to your paper flowers. And you can even then get experimenting with things like vellum and tissue and all sorts of different exciting mediums. Whatever you've already got in your crafty stash, just get playing. It's fabulous. So we're going to add our stamens into the middle now. So just poking a hole through the centre. And I'm not too concerned. I know there is a little bit of glue in the centre, but because we didn't add tons of glue, we can really easily still spear through the centre using our pokey tool. So you don't need to worry about that at all. I know some people sort of create their flowers where they desperately try and add their glue slightly to one side and then add their stamens slightly to the other. But you don't need to be messing about like that. You should have no problem at all poking the hole through the hot glue, as long as it's set, which is very, very quick for it to set, so we don't need to be particularly worrying about that at all. Now, we didn't add any colour beforehand, so we're going to add a little bit of colour afterwards, just to the edge of the petals. Just goes to show you don't need to always colour every single layer. You can colour at the end using your inks if you prefer. The only thing I'd say is if you are colouring using your pens, you do want to do that before you build the flower, because it's quite difficult when you're using your pens to actually colour once it's already been put together. But with your inks, you're absolutely fine. The stamens are, of course, also from your Enchanted Dreams collection. And with them being white, you can add your ink to the centre of those as well to make everything match perfectly. So it's brilliant to have those in your crafty stash. When you've got your white foam and your white stains, it just gives you so many options, doesn't it?
It really does. Can you add glitter to the foam? And if so, which glue would you use? Asked Stephanie.
Definitely. You can use a flake and glitter glue like that you get in your Enchanted Dreams chunky glitter kit, or you can be using your tacky glue. Okay. It might just take a little bit longer to dry, but absolutely. Yeah, but what about using some of your sprays? You like your spray and sparkle, that would work fabulously as well. So yeah, lots and lots of different options.
Just one card maker says, can you use sparkle pens on the foam or will it smear?
I'm not sure it would dry.
Okay.
Would be my only concern, but definitely get a scrap little bit of your foam and just give it a go. Okay. Give it a go and leave it a bit of time to dry. The only reason I'm thinking possibly not is because they are water-based. Right. I don't know if they would dry on the foam, but definitely give it a go. It may very well work. But like with everything else, just have a little experiment. Just have a see. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work, and you've wasted a tiny little bit of foam. And it's not the end of the world. Absolutely. But it's much more fun to experiment and just find out exactly what you can be doing with your foam and how you can be colouring it. But we're going to add this flower onto a really, really simple card base. So I'm just adding a little bit of ink to my mats and layers. So this purple, I believe we've got this paper pad actually on the show. It is the Rainbow Pearl paper pad. I believe we've got a little bundle of some pearly paper pads on the show. So when you're building up your cards.
Lily knows what's on the show better than any of us, because Lily, obviously in her Monday to Friday capacity, puts the shows together, don't you, Lily?
Absolutely, yeah. So I did actually put this show together myself. Right. So hopefully I should know what's on it, but... I
believe there might be a packet of, yeah, there definitely
I'm thinking,
is. There it is.
I'm hoping I did.
It's the Pearl Pad Collection, with 84 sheets in there for you. $19.19 the price on that one.
Yeah, so it's perfect.
Is that really the price?
Good grief.
Just checking. That's not the price.
That can't be right. That's
crazy.
So
$65.99 it is, $74.99. We're having a problem with the lower graphics along the screen this afternoon, so sorry about that.
Naughty graphics. naughty graphics. But what I'm using to create my card base, I'm using some of the dies that we've actually got on Second Chance Sunday. So I'm giving you, once again, a slightly naughty little sneak peek of what we've got coming up later.
You are mischievous today, aren't you?
I know, I am. You know, it's got to be done. It's a Sunday, it's got to be done.
Absolutely.
But this is one of the interlace dies that we've got coming up, and I'm just using this to create a really, really simple shaped card base, but it's going to look so much more special when we've got our homemade foam flowers onto there. So it's going to be a pretty card without, but with it's going to be a really, really special card, which is absolutely what we want. So I'm adding a few layers of foam pads just to get a really nice bit of dimension onto there to make those layers really stand out. But the absolute crowning glory of the card is going to be adding our little flower onto there. So it's just the one flower. Didn't take very long to create, but it completely transforms this card into something that's really quite pretty, into something that's a lot more breathtaking, a lot more stunning and special, which is absolutely what we want. So adding our flower from the Enchanted Dreams collection that we saw how easy and quick it was to create, just with several layers onto there, a few stamens, and then that gives us a really, really quick and simple, but really quite pretty card, just like so.
Absolutely love that. Isn't that a gorgeous, gorgeous creation? Another one of so many gorgeous creations that Lily has put together in this show. Let me again show you some of the other things that were created using this particular collection here. As you can see, absolutely stunning. They really, really are. Remember what you're also getting in there as well. You're going to get the stamens in there, and you're also then getting the foam within there as well. 12 sheets of the foam in this particular collection. £23.96 or £32.67 if you want to go for that one. Right, I guess we better do the card of the show, or creation of the show, as the case is this time.
So we've got 4 different options for you guys to choose from at home today for our project of the show. So first of all, we've got this lovely little box that we created first off using some of our spring flowers onto that. Second of all, we created our lovely little Christmas card using our poinsettias, our holly and our pine cones. So that's number 2. Number 3 is our bell countryside. Belle of the countryside, call it what you will, but we created those lovely peonies onto there. That's number 3. And then finally we've got number 4 that we've just popped together right now using our Sarah Signature Enchanted Dreams flower onto there. So 1, 2, 3 or 4, what's going to be your choice?
Absolutely. Get voting. Crafters TV on Facebook, Crafters Companion if you are, of course, on YouTube. Do you know what else I'd like to remind you of? It ends today, of course. It is this week's. Get it? Got it? Good. And it's an awesome collection of buddy bags for you. Lots of different ones in here. You're going to get 8 in total. You're going to get Katie, Teresa, Brandy, Stephanie, Barbara, Shelley, Terry and Muriel as well. $34.99 or $44.99. They hold a whole host of different crafty items. As you can see just here, you've got things like your gilding polishes, gilding waxes, some there for finished products, rulers, your alcohol markers, absolutely loads you can put in that. And they all then store into the lowest tote. Great if you're using them with or without the lowest tote. They've all got that hook and eye technology, which is fantastic. Right, should we recap some of the awesome things that we've seen in this show so far? This one here, this is your flower forming, a 6-piece die collection that you can see in here. In here you get the peony, the clover, foliage, holly, ivy and the autumn leaves in there as well. Great saving for you of $16.49 or $21.51. Then we had the spring foam flowers collection, and in here you'll get the delicate crocus, the elegant ranunculus, hydrangea garden, the peony and the clover, and then you're getting the spring hues and the floral bouquet, both in, you're getting the spring hues, sorry, in the flower forming foam, and then you are, I know you are getting, you're getting the flower forming foam in the spring hues and the floral bouquet, and then the floral bouquet in the stamens. All got there in the end, Lily, didn't we? Whew. Right, next one is this one just here. It is your it's your autumn winter collection. In here you've got poinsettia, holly, autumn leaves and the pine cone, and then you've got the flower forming foam in both the autumn hues and the holiday hues, and then the stamens in both the holiday hues and the autumn hues as well. The other one we had for you was the Enchanted Dreams. In here you've got the bewitching blooms, beautiful blossoms, you've got the flower forming foam from that collection and the stamens as well, which is fantastic. We then also had the Bell Countryside, so you've got your precious peonies in here, along with the rustic hues, which is the name of the flower forming foam in that particular collection. Really awesome that. Less than £20, which I think is a great price there, under £16 for Platinum members. The next one we've got is the flower forming foam, 57 sheet collection. If you were looking for a great restock on your foam, then this is definitely it. You get the natural white, the floral bouquet, the foliage greens, the autumn hues, and the holiday hues in there as well, which is fantastic. We also have some corresponding stamens as well that you might want to go for, where you get the metallics, the floral bouquet, the natural white, the noir black, the holiday hues, and the autumn hues in there as well. We also had a deal for you on the white flower forming foam. So you get 2 packs of the flower forming foam. So you do get 3 packs apparently. The picture is wrong. You get 21 sheets of foam and 400 stamens. So we'll change those details for you. But you will get 400 stamens, 21 sheets of foam. Do you want the petal distress tool, the big ball tools, and also the foam pad? We've got that available for you as well. $11.99 or $15.96 if you are a Platinum member. Right, we're going to come back. I want to remind you again about that spring collection that you're getting, which has been so popular. Remember what you're getting in there then. So you're going to receive your crocus, ranunculus, hydrangea, and the peony. Then you're getting the flower forming foam dye in the clover. You get the spring hues in the foam and 2 packs of spring hues and. It's caught me out, this one, isn't it? This is the bundle. You are getting the spring hues and the floral bouquet in the foam, and you will get the floral bouquet in the stamens as well. Lots of very beautiful things you can make with this, though, isn't there, Lily? You know that the design team have really loved putting these together when you look at all the incredible samples that there are.
Yeah, I mean, we've got absolutely tons. I'm surrounded by gorgeous flowers, but looking at this lovely collection that we've got, this is the elegant ranunculus. Using it with some of your Sarah's signature collections to create beautiful flowers. So that's on your cards, but how about thinking about little home decor pieces? How gorgeous is this little sort of pot there? So creating your own little scored and folded sort of plant pot and then filling it with the gorgeous flowers. But how about thinking about your autumn foliage and seeing your pine cones onto this fantastic creation? Wouldn't that be amazing in the centre of a table perhaps at Thanksgiving? Just stunning, building up all those layers. How about bringing in our lovely winter collection? So creating our flowers, adding in all our berries, adding in some of your ivy and your pine cones to create really stunning Christmas cards. How about creating little boxes for Christmas as well? How stunning is that? Using your poinsettias, so using the same technique that we were creating earlier when we popped our card together. Adding in your pine cones, some of your ivy, you can see all the stunning debossed detail that you've got in your ivy to create little boxes would be perfect for your little Christmas gifts. How about making stunning wreaths? How fab would that look on a door at Christmas time? Adding in some of your sisal, your berries for lots of different texture, using all your different colours of foam that you've got to create really stunning wreaths just like so. But how about going much more pretty, much more light and perhaps quite girly and floral, using your more pastel tones, building up lovely little embellishments onto your cards like so. You can just create so many different things for all your projects, whether it be home decor, whether we're thinking more about cards going in with your easel cards, using your flowers even as stoppers for your easel cards. How absolutely stunning does that look in lovely bright bold colours? So it doesn't matter if you're into more pastel tones or much more intense colours, there's something for you when it comes to flower forming, but just so much fun to put together. You can see the design team has loved it because I've got box after box full of stunning projects, and I think you guys at home are going to have so much fun too when you get started.
Yeah, absolutely. Can't wait to see what you do. I love the way that it goes across so many different types of crafting. Whether you are using them to add to things like cards, they're going to be great. Even thinking about pieces you wear, like headbands or corsages or brooches, they're all things that you can do with these amazing foam flowers. Sarah did those. Remember Sarah doing that amazing floating teacup? I don't know if it's still around.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
What happened to that, Johnny? Where did that go?
It was fabulous. I remember that.
There. No, I thought it was. Also, home decor, they look great as well. You want to make them into little posies, they look fantastic. We have got a winner, Lily.
Oh,
it is number 2.
Number 2 with the Christmas one.
Oh yes, there we are.
Ooh, Very, very nice. Yeah.
Loving that.
Like that.
Absolutely loving that. Now, you and I, Lily, we'll be back, won't we, with a Second Chance Sunday in just over 2 hours' time. Can you give us a little flavour of what we can expect from that show?
Oh, we've got lots of exciting, gorgeous goodies. We're going to have a little look at the Sarah Signature Enchanted Dreams. We've got those lovely frames that we sneakily had a little look at earlier. We've got pop-outs. We've got absolutely all sorts of really, really exciting things that you might have seen throughout the week, or perhaps you've missed it. It's going to be the perfect chance to catch up and see all the gorgeous crafty goodies. And it's just going to be so much fun just to round the week off perfectly here at Crafters TV.
Yeah, can't wait. We'll also decide the creation or the card of the week as well, which is awesome. Remember, today is your last day for the Windsor sale. It really is your last call. If you want to snap up a bargain, go and check out that section of the website, craftscompanion.co.uk.com.au, and make sure you do it tonight. Up to 70% off selected lines. I know we've been adding new products every single day as well, so if you checked it a few days ago, definitely worth going and have a little look over there, see if you can snap something else up. And also, new year, new craft as well, which is fantastic. So lots of promotions on the website, lots of great stuff over there to help you try something new, which is absolutely fantastic. A lot of you have tried flower forming, and maybe will be trying flower forming this year. Brilliant bundles on this show to enable you to do that. Don't forget to check out your baskets. Make sure you do that. And myself and Lily, we will see you back here in 2 hours' time. Take care.